All right, everybody, what's going on? We're back. I'm the original gamer, StevieStrow, and we are here for Chapter 7 and getting started with Color Basic on the TRS-80 color computer, where we continue to dive into the process of learning the basic language and writing software, writing programs, with the ultimate goal of writing our own homemade little video game in BASIC. This is what I did when I got my computer in 1981. I grabbed this book that we're looking at here. I went through the chapters. I read the chapters. I typed in the commands. I started to learn the language. BASIC is known as a language, a programming language. I started to learn that language. I started to understand that language. I started to speak that language, if you will. And then I started using all these different commands to make my own games. And when I was a kid, I had a bunch of different games that I made. And of course, I don't remember them all, but I'm going to remember them as I'm relearning the language, and we're going to write some. So we'll write at least one of the games that I made before when I was a kid. And then hopefully if people are watching this series and they're enjoying this series, we might get some comments or some suggestions on what to do to make a game, and we can kind of crowdsource this and make this kind of a team effort game collaboration based on viewer feedback. So we will see where that goes. But now we're starting to get interesting. I think there was a total of like 30 something chapters in this book. We are now on chapter 7, and it's starting to get interesting now. This chapter is called Games of Chance, and this is now when the book actually introduces you to the computer's ability to generate random numbers. And this was the cornerstone of most of my game programs. Now, a good game developer would use something like artificial intelligence or patterns or algorithms or something more sophisticated. I didn't learn anything that sophisticated. I just used random numbers to make decisions, and depending on what number you picked, then you go here or you go there or you go there. So it was completely random. There was no logic, there was no intelligence, but it was a way to get bad guys to move around on the screen and do things for you without having to actually program any logic. Just rely on the computer's ability to randomly pull a number out of a hat and then make a decision based on that. So randomizing things was great for me to make the majority of my games. And so this is the chapter where we will introduce to you what randomizing does. So let's clear out memory from our old program, and let's go ahead and start this one off here. So on the top page of chapter 7, it says, thanks to a basic word called RND, the computer can play almost any game of chance. And even if you don't want to play computer games, you'll want to learn 2 words in this chapter, and those are RND for random and print at, which allows you to print something on a specific location on the screen. You'll also find this chapter, you'll also find in this chapter some more uses of if and then. So now it says type in this program. Type in 10 print RND parentheses 10 close parentheses. Run it. And when I run it, it says 5. If I run it again, it says 4. If I run it again, it says 2. If I run it again, it says 7. Every time you run it, the computer picks a random number out of the hat between 1 and 10. The number it predicts is unpredictable. And says, now run this program and make it go back to itself forever. So if I type in list, and 10 says print random 10, 20 says go to 10, and I run it, it will do this forever. It is randomly picking these numbers, and it's randomly printing these numbers, and it'll keep doing that until we press break. Fine. I get your point here. So I'm randomizing a number, and how this works too is whatever number I put inside these parentheses, if I put a 5 in there, what it's going to automatically do is pick between 1 and that number. It doesn't specifically say that here right now. Maybe it will later in the chapter. But if you needed to generate a number that started with 0, you would have to do something creative with that, like put a -1 on there to get a 0 in there. If you needed to get numbers that were less than 0 and the negatives, you would have to do something as well. So just know that whatever number's in the parentheses, the random number will automatically be between 1 and that number. So now it says change the number to 100. Go to line 10 and say print RND 100. One of the little details I missed there because I'm looking at this in fine print, is it actually wanted me to put a semicolon after that as well. So now when I run it, now we can see all these random numbers on the screen. So that's kind of cool, right? So that's any random number between 1 and 100, it will just keep printing and printing and printing. So then it says, the next question it's asking us is, how can you change the program to get a random number between 1 and 255? So if I list that out on line 10, I would actually say print RND 255 semicolon. And then once I did that and I hit run, we would see that this computer is generating random numbers between 1 and 255, and it's just throwing them up on the screen. And that's kind of cool, actually. You know, it's just numbers, but it's still kind of cool. So now it says, just for fun, have the computer compose a song made up of random tones. Type in 10, T equals RND, left parentheses, 255, right parentheses, 20, sound, T comma 1, 30, go to 10. And this is similar to something I showed you right around chapter 3. I gave you a sneak peek of the random command to kind of let you see, you know, things to come and put some concepts together. So line 10 says this: pick a number between 1 and 255, which kind of matches up where sound can go. Sound can be anywhere between 1 and 255, our sound command, 1 being the lowest tone, lowest frequency tone, 255 being the highest frequency tone. So we're going to pick one of those random numbers. We're going to sound that tone number for one duration, one cycle. And then when that's done, we're going to go right back. We're going to pick a new number, and it's just going to keep going. It's going to be random computer music, right? So it's going to be R2-D2 with Tourette's syndrome here. Take a listen. Yes, that is a robot having a seizure. But it's kind of cool, right? Yes, robot having a seizure. White guy doing the robot. Yeah, funny stuff. So, cool, right? So that is taking a random number and making a sound based on that random number. I had many a fun hour doing things like this in my youth. So we're going to move on, and we're going to see what the chapter has for us next to do here. Do-it-yourself program 7-1. And again, this is, ironically, this is very similar to the one that I had set up for us sometime around chapter 3. When we first learned about colors and sound, I wrote a little program to randomize them. So what is it asking us to do here now? It's going to have us put in a little bit more in here. So basically it's saying now, we've already picked our random tone in line 10. It says go to line 14 and pick a random color. So C equals RND 8. And then line 16, it says type in CLS C. And so that's between 1 and 8. Technically we have between 0 and 8, so I did something a little fancier than this, but that's okay. We won't see black. Black is color 0. So what we're going to see here now is that line 10 is going to generate a random tone value for us between 1 and 255. Line 14 is going to generate a random color for us, which is between 1 and 8. Line 16 will clear the screen in that color value. Line 20 will sound that random tone for one cycle, and then line 30 is going to go all the way back over there, and it's going to do it again. Now what we're going to really see here is a robot having a seizure. So yeah, this was, you know, real basic silly things you could do to get your computer to make music, sound, color, whatever you want to call it. So some animation, right? Some audio and some video. This is a good way to get your computer to do something that was kind of interesting. In, you know, 1980, when nobody knew how to use a computer, you could actually impress somebody that you were able to do this. You know, that you were able to type in a few things, press a button, hit run, and make a computer do this. This was relatively impressive to the average civilian. So that was that program right there. So not bad. This is just another little introduction to randomizing sound, randomizing colors, clearing the screen, making some sounds. Now, the next program, I feel bad for even talking about this. This just shows you how the times have changed here. Let's see what screen I can change this to here. That's a little bit bigger. I think I need to change it. And will I get this one bigger? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best way to zoom in on this. I guess we have to go back to the full book. So what this next program is doing is it's teaching us how to make a game that's called Russian roulette. So in 1981, it was probably okay to even mention the name of this game and to suggest to, of all things, children to make a game called Russian roulette. What is Russian roulette? What was Russian roulette? Well, in the real world, Russian roulette is a suicide game where you take a pistol that has one of those rolling, spinning barrels. You put one bullet in the barrel, you spin it, you pass it around to all your friends, you put it in your mouth, you pull the trigger, you hope you don't blow your brains out, right? Great fun for the whole family. Well, you know, why am I even saying this? I feel disgusted by saying this, but it's a game that existed, and we knew this game existed for some reason. I don't know why. And so now we are going to let the computer pick a number for us, and we're going to try to guess its number, and we're going to hopefully not blow our heads off and die. So this is the mini program of Russian roulette. So line 10 says, print, quote, choose your chamber, left parentheses 1 through 10, end quote. Line 20 says input X. Line 30 says if X equals RND 10, meaning if the number you pick equals a random number that the computer picks, then go to 100. Line 40 says sound 200 comma 1. Line 50 says print quote dash dash click dash dash quote. Line 60 says go to 10. Line 100 says print quote bang dash dash you're dead. Wonderful fun game for the family. What's going on here? Let's flow through the logic here. So line 10 is going to print a prompt. It's going to say choose your chamber between 1 and 10. It's going to input a number, and it's going to allow you to type in that number. If the number you pick matches the number the computer picks, it's going to jump straight to 100 and say bang, you're dead. So if it doesn't, you're going to hear it make a quick sound, and it's going to say click. Nope, you didn't blow your brains out this time, but try again. Hopefully you will. Right, so here's the program. Choose your chamber. Let's choose 5. Click. Did not hit it. Choose your chamber. Let's choose 1. All right, 2, 3. Bang, you're dead. Right, so that's the game. That is this is a simple guessing game. You could have made this a little bit more family friendly by having the computer say, you know what, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Try to guess. And then you typed it in and say, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. But you know what? Why not? Let's have the kids blow their brains out. It's the 80s. They can handle it, right? So first in line 20, the player inputs X, which is a number, and then the computer compares X to a random number. And then if you follow the arrows, if X equals a number, then it goes to the line 100 that says you're dead. If it's not equal, then it clicks like you've just pulled an empty chamber, and it continues to go around in circles. So now it says, let's make the dead routine in line 100 even better. It's not bad enough that you just blew your brains out. Let's add more sound to it. So let's start retyping some of these lines in here right now. So in line 100, it says for t equals 133 to 1 step -5. So we're going to start on 133, and we're going to start counting backwards by 5s. Line 110 says print quote. I'm not sure how many spaces we have there. I'm going to space it all the way out based on how it matches on the screen here. It looks like that's right underneath the T. The P, B-A-N-G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation points. Okay, that's line 110. 120 says sound T, comma 1. 130 says next T. 140 says CLS. 150 is printing something on the screen now. Now we're getting introduced to the print at command. Print at 230, comma, sorry, comma, you're dead. Line 160 says sound 1, comma, 50, which is a longer tone. Line 170 says print at 390, comma, quote, next victim, please. It just gets more darker and more morbider as the game goes on. Let's list the code out one more time. Let's see if we can follow this logic here. I'm trying to scroll back with my mouse wheel, and unfortunately the 1980s Radio Shack Basic didn't know what a mouse was and certainly didn't support mouse wheel scrolling. So try as hard as I might as I'm trying to roll my mouse wheel, this screen is not scrolling back for me. One of the disadvantages of using 1980s DOS, you can't go back. So here's all the new stuff we did here. Assuming you guess the same number the computer guessed and it jumps down to line 100 because everything else here just keeps repeating. Line 100 is going to start making a sound from about mid-range down to a low range. So it's going to be like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's going to make that sound. It's going to print bang, 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 bang. When it's done, it's going to clear the screen, and somewhere in the center of the screen, I'm guessing it's going to say, sorry, you're dead. Make another sound, boo, and then it's going to print next victim, please. So that's what is going to happen based on all this gobbledygook we just printed in here. Let's see if that's actually what happens. Choose your chamber. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the odd thing about this is there are some flaws in the logic too, because every time you type it in, it's guessing a new number. And so it's, it should just guess one number and you should be able to guess it within 10 tries, but it's completely random each time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I would have hit it by now, but 1. There we go. Sorry, you're dead. Next victi, please. I forgot the M in victim. Next victi, please. Good enough, right? So that was kind of cool, though. Bang, right? Sorry, you're dead. Next victi, please. So that is what that code just did. Let's do that 170 again. Print at 390, comma, quote, next victim, comma, please, right? So there's a couple of flaws in this, but this is a very simple program. It's trying to teach you a few basic things. I see flaws in the logic here because there's no checking to see if you're entering a number that's less than 1 or greater than 10. So what if you just kept putting in 11? It's never going to equal that and you would never die. Another flaw in the logic here is that it picks a new number each time. It should pick the number once and you should be able to guess it in 10 tries or less. Silly things like that, but it's not an advanced program. It's a simple program to teach you some of these concepts. Let's try it one more time because I had a heck of a lot of fun from there. Choose your chamber. 1, 2. Ooh. Sorry, you're dead. Next victim, please. Did I spell it? No, it's victim with an I. So I can't read. I can't spell. That's okay. And there's no spell check in BASIC. There's no little squiggly red lines here. But no, that was kind of cool though, right? So it's basically now explaining to you what this program is doing, which I think I've done as well. And then the next thing it's introducing you to here, which I'll zoom in here a little bit, is it's introducing to you the print at command. So the print at command, your screen is broken up into numbers. Now there's a total of 32 columns here. So 0 through 31 is your first row. And then 32 is your first column on your second row, and it gets down to 64 and so on. So line 224 is about halfway down on your screen. And then it counted in here to a few more. And so this is where sorry, you're dead got printed on the screen. And this is where next victim, please got printed on your screen. And they actually spelled victim correctly, even though I didn't. So it's basically saying that was 384 plus 6, right? So it's just kind of showing you every location on your screen has a number. And then here we go. It says change this program so that if the player does manage to stay alive for 10 clicks, the computer pronounces the player the winner, printing this message on the screen. And so what message is that? this message would be, congratulations, you managed to stay alive. It says you can use the for next loop so that your computer can keep count of the number of ticks. And so that would be interesting, right? Why don't we try that? And so we're going to be printing somewhere right around line 224. And you managed to stay alive. I'm still having a hard time reading that text. It's very small, but I think I can kind of count that out here. So this is a little challenge now. What is it asking us to do? It's asking us to keep track of how many times we've guessed this. And if we have survived 10 times, we will go to a screen that says, all right, cool. So let's kind of prepare that. Let's put in a line 180 here. That's going to end the program. And then we'll start the new one on 190. So 190 will clear the screen. I'm going to skip the musical fanfare. And so then let me go back to where the printing at is here and try to do some rudimentary math here. So that's 224, 225, 226, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Congratulations. So let's go ahead and do that one. So let's go back to the full screen here. So line 200 would say print at 230, I think that was. Print at 230, comma, congratulations, handful of exclamation points. Let's test that right now. Let's, okay. If I run this from line 190, I can see what it's doing, and that is roughly center screen. Good enough for government work there. What's the next line it wants us to do? It wants us to print you managed, and so that's going to be on line 256, 7, 8, 9, 260, 261, 262, 263, 264, 265. So the next one would be on print at 265, and that's how we would get the next line. So if we go over here and we list this out again and we go to line 210, we're going to say print at 265, comma, you managed. And to test this, I can then run 190 again. Congratulations, you managed. Very cool, very cool. We are getting there. And then the last one is saying to stay alive, and that's around, gosh, I still can't read this, 256. I think that's 284, 285, 286, 287, 288, 290, 291, 292. So roughly 293. So we will print at 293. So on line 230, print at 293, comma, to stay alive. I'll even throw in a couple exclamation points there. So if I run 190, this is our victory. Okay, that's got to be centered a little bit more. So so instead of being 293, okay, so 230 print at, let's just say 296, comma, quote, to stay alive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run 190, to stay alive. You managed to stay alive. Good enough, good enough, good enough. Okay, so let's list out that code. So our happy ending, our game over, starts around 190. Now, what I could even do in between here is I could even put a little bit of sound in between each one of these to make it kind of pop up and make some music here. So I could do, like, let's say a line 205, I could just say sound 200, comma 5. On line 215, I can say sound 190, let's just say 205, or to say 210, comma 5. And then line 235, we'll say sound 220, comma 5. So our tones are going to go up. Let's list that out and make sure I'm thinking this out clearly. So we're going to clear the screen. We're going to print congratulations. We'll make a high tone. We'll print to manage, a slightly higher tone. We'll print to stay alive, a slightly even higher tone. If we run 190, we can test that. Oops, I didn't want to do run, but I want to do run 190, right? So run 190. Do do do. congratulations, you managed to stay alive. So I'm kind of working backwards. That's our game over screen. That's our happy ending screen. So if I want to list out the first 4 lines of my program here, I can actually type in like list 10 through 40. So we're going to do this. We're going to do line 5. For T equals 1 to 10. That's our number of tries. List 5 through 60. So line 60 is going to say next T. So if I list that out again, if I list like line 5 through 60, what I'll see here is line 5 will say for T equals 1 to 10 for your number of tries. Print, choose your chamber, input X. If X equals random 10, then 100. If not, it's going to make a click and then next T. So these are our 10 tries. So let's try this now. Let's run the screen. Choose your chamber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I blew my brains out. Sorry, you're dead. And then I told it to end the program. Because I have a little bit of OCD, I need to fix the spelling. So in line 170, it was print at 390, comma, next victim, comma, please. All right, so we'll try it again. Pick your chamber. 1, click, nothing. 2, click, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, on my 10th try I died. Sorry, you're dead. So, well, people who play games have figured out ways to cheat games, and one of the things I mentioned to you was there's no logic in this right now. This doesn't check to see if you're trying to guess outside of the parameters. So if I run this right now and I type in 11, I'm never going to be between 1 and 10. If I type in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wait a second. There's something... Oh, so I screwed up. I screwed up. Yeah, no doubt I screwed up here. So in my code after next T, it should only do that if you die, right? So let's list 5 through like 90. This is where I'm screwing up. List 5 through 100. Next T. Okay, so it should only go to 100 if you pick the wrong number. So line 60, after it says next T, line 70 should say go to 190, if I'm not mistaken. I think 190 is where I started my happy ending. Yeah, 190 is where I started the happy ending. So I kind of screwed up my logic there. Let's try it again. All right, choose your chamber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there we go. Flawed logic results in flawed results. And the old computer programming term for that was called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, right? So what this program is doing is giving you 10 tries now to guess the computer's number. Lucky for us, the computer guesses a new number each time we try. So statistically, you could guess the number 1 10 times and it may not guess it any of those 10 times. But as I just went through 1 through 10, the odds of me picking 1, 2, and 3 the exact same times the computer did were 1 in 10. So kind of cool. What I do want to see now is me picking it. I want to die. No, I want to see the not so happy ending. Yes, okay, I did it. Sorry, you're dead. So we can make this a little bit fancier too. If I list 5 through 90, 5 through 100, for example. Okay. So choose your chamber, input X. How about I do this on line 20? I'm going to print T colon try. I'm going to confuse you guys, right? So I'm not going to mix lines right now. So line 20 is already there. I'm going to do, right before I input it on line 15, I'm just going to say print T semicolon quote, or how about this? Print quote try number end quote T. So this is going to let you know how many tries you've got going on here right now. So when I run this, pick your chamber 1 through 10, try number 1. So right now if I type in 1, Okay, click. I didn't blow my brains out. Try number 2. Try number 3. Try number 4. Try number 5. Try number 6. Try number 7. Try number 8. Try number 9. Let me just pick a 4. All right. Try number 10. This is my last try. Let's try number 6. Okay, so it gave me 10 tries. And after that, because I didn't blow my brains out, that's it. Now, I actually, because I'm having so much fun with this, list 5 through 100. Here's what I want to do. I want to make this more real. I want to make the computer pick the number in advance and not have it completely random, have it predetermined, and then I want to give us 9 tries because there's 10 numbers. So let's do line 4. 4 is we'll call it B for bullet. Bullet equals random 10. So that number is going to be determined once at the beginning of the program. Now line 5 is not going to be for t equals 1 to 10. It's going to say for t equals 1 to 9. You get 9 tries. We've just changed the game significantly. List 1 through 99. Now on line 30, if x equals b, which is the bullet, then 100. So if you pick the number which is the bullet, it's going to go to the death routine, and if you don't, it's going to continue. So line 1, we're going to go ahead and clear the screen. So let's list 1 through 99. Here's the first half of our code. This is the main game logic here. Line 1 will clear the screen. Line 2 is going to pick a random number between 1 and 10. Line 5 is going to give us 9 tries to not blow our brains out. Choose your chamber, 1 through 10. It's going to tell us what try number we are. It's going to input the number. It's going to see if the number we pick matches that number. If it does, it's going to go to the you're dead screen. If it doesn't, it's going to print click, and then it's going to continue this. And then if you don't blow your brains out, it's going to go to line 190, and then it's going to say, hey, you survived by a 1 in 10 chance. So this makes the game very, very difficult. Let's go ahead and try it. Syntax error in 5. All right. I guess you have to put the word 4 in there. 4t equals 1 to 9. All right, let's try it one more time. All right, choose your chamber. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, computer picked 7. Sorry, you're dead. So the difficulty is definitely higher. Let's try it again. Choose your chamber. Let's start with 10, the highest number. Let's start with 1, the lowest number. Let's go with 5 in the middle. Okay, so far so good. So I'm kind of doing like a binary sort here. Let's go halfway in the middle. Let's go between 5 and 7. Let's go in the middle there. Boom. All right, let's go to 9. Let's go to 2. Oh, crap. You really have 1 chance out of 9. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's really, really tough because the number is only chosen once. So 10, 1, 5, 3, 7, 2. Wow. It's you could play this game for a long time and try it one more time for craps and giggles. So this is my customized version of the don't blow your brains out game here. Choose your chamber. 1, 10. Wow. Sorry, you're dead. Yeah, I have a feeling that you know, we could play this game for a long time. It's going to be very, very lucky for you not to do this. But because I had so much fun playing this game and had so much fun thinking this game a little bit more betterer than the book made it, I want to go ahead and save this. This is going to be the first thing we're going to save on disk. Let me type in dir. Let's see if my virtual disk still has my first test. Yeah, so I'm going to save this one as Russian. I don't know if that's 8 letters. If I type in dir. Okay, so there's Russian roulette. Russian roulette is saved to the disk. Technically, Russian roulette most pistols have a chamber of 6 as well, so this is it's a bigger chamber. But yeah, so we just saved a program to our disk too. That was fun. I enjoyed that. So we're gonna save that. We can come back to that later as we move forward. Sometimes it's nice to look back and, yeah, remember that silly little program we made way back in chapter 7? We can look back and reminisce about that and have a giggle. What's the next thing that we're gonna learn here? Because I got really consumed with that. That was kind of fun. Rolling the dice. This game has the computer roll 2 dice. To do this, you must come up with 2 random numbers. So let's flip the page. So here's the next piece of code. This piece of code says this: 10 CLS. X equals random 6 because most dice have 6 sides, and Y equals random 6. And then it's going to say R, which is kind of the results, equals X plus Y. Then it's actually going to print on the screen what your X was, it's going to print on the screen what your Y was, and it's going to print you rolled a R, which is the 2. It's going to say, do you want another roll? And it's going to input something, give you a prompt. If you type yes, it'll go back and it'll clear the screen. So that's kind of cool, right? It says line 20 picks a random number, line 30 picks a random number, line 40 adds the 2, line 50 through 70 print the results, and so on. So let's try the program because we're just having so much fun here, kids. So I'm going to go ahead and type in new and clear out memory. And we're going to go ahead and type in this silly little program here. So I need more room though. That's kind of hard to read. That's the one problem. I have to manage this on screen, and when I'm looking at it, it's very small. So it's kind of hard to read, and I'm old. So bear with me here. So line 10, CLS, clear screen. Line 20, X equals RND 6. Line 30, Y equals RND 6. And I made a boo-boo there. 20, X equals RND, left parentheses, 6. Right parentheses. All right. 30, Y equals RND 6, right parentheses. All right, let's list that out. Okay. Line 40, results R equals X plus Y. We're taking one variable and we're adding 2 other variables and injecting that into that variable. So that variable has become a formula and a summary of a couple of numbers there. Line 50, okay, line 50 says print at 200, comma, X. Line 60 says print at 214, which is just 14 characters over, comma, Y. Line 70 says print at 394, comma, you rolled a, end quote, R. Line 80 will print, do you want another roll, question mark, quote. Line 80 says input a string. Line 90 says if a string equals, quote, yes, then 10. But what will happen is if I don't hit yes, it's not going to go to 10, but there's nowhere else for it to go, so it's just going to end. So let's hit run. Okay, 6 and 1. What the hell did I screw up? I missed that. What did I typed over? Okay, 80 is supposed to be, okay, input a string. Screwed that up. 100 is if a string equals, quote, yes, then 10. Let's try that again. What am I missing here? This is my problem. I'm having such a hard time reading that code. So 80 is supposed to say print at 454, comma, do you want another roll, question mark, comma, and then it's 90 is input a string. God, that is so hard to read. That's a 90. And then 100 says if a strings equals, quote, yes, then 10. Now let's try this again. This is what it's supposed to do. Okay, it picked 2 random numbers, 5 and 5. It says, you rolled a 10. Do you want another roll? And we'll type in yes. Okay, 4 and 3. You rolled a 7. So it's just doing the math, right? 4 was X. That was random between 1 and 6. 3 is Y, that's random between 1 and 6. 4 and 3 is 7, which is our results. Our results added those two numbers together, put them in another variable, puts it up on the screen, and boom. Do you want another roll? Sure. Oops, I didn't type in yes all the way, so it ended. So do you want another roll? Yes. I rolled an 8. Do you want another roll? Yes. Rolled a 10. Want another roll? Yes. And by the way, I did similar things like this to create Dungeons and Dragon characters for me. Nerd alert, nerd alert, nerd alert, right? But yeah, in Dungeons and Dragons, we had to roll 3 6-sided dice to come up with our character stats. And so I wrote programs to randomize character stats for me. It was one of the first things I did when I started learning how to use this command. A little light bulb went off and I said, hey, I can roll some characters with this. So yeah, so randomizing stuff. Cool stuff. So what's the, and you know what, even though this is an even more simpler game, or I want to go ahead and start saving our work, right? So this is a real simple one. If I type in dir for directory, we see we have our Russian roulette program. I want to save this one. I want to call it dice. We're going to save dice. And if I type in dir, dice should be on there. If I hit new and clear memory, I have no more memory. But if I type in dir, here's a directory. If I typed in load dice, that should load that back. If I list it, it's there. I can run my dice program. I can break out of there. If I type in load quote Russian and I type in list, that brings our Russian roulette program. And so this is now us starting to make programs, saving our programs on our disk. This is the hokey pokey here. This is what it's all about. Let's read the final closing suggestions here at the bottom of this chapter. This says, first thing it says is do it yourself program 7-3. Since you know how to roll dice, it should be easy to write a craps game program. These are the rules of the game in its simplest form. Player rolls 2 dice. If the player first rolls a 2, which is known as snake eyes, a 3, which is known as cock eyes, or a 12, which is known as boxcar, the player loses and the game's over. Okay, so that would be your logic. So when you did your X and your Y and you got your results, if your result was 2, 3, or 12, then you're out of here. All right. So that's kind of thinking out loud logic. The next part would say, and if it rolls a 7 or 11, that's a natural, you win and the game is over. And then if the first rolls any other number, it becomes the player's point. The player must keep rolling until either making the point or by getting the same number again to win, or rolling a 7 and losing. You already know how to, more than enough to write the program. Do it. Make the computer print an attractive format on your screen and keep the player informed about what's happening. It may take you a while to finish, but give it your best. Good luck. The answer is in the back. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to do that for this episode of this video. It's a great idea. If anybody's watching this at home and they want to try that and then send it in to me and send me the program for me to see what you did, that would be kind of awesome, but that could take us a while. Maybe I could do that later, do it offline, off camera, and show you the results. But I'm not going to sit here and think through all that right now. But I had fun. You know, I've actually, now this is going to be about the 4th video I've recorded in one day, which is probably more than I've recorded ever so far. So I'm actually starting to enjoy doing this. It was one of these things where I was like, I just don't have time. I'm not that interested in doing it. I'm not sure if anybody else is going to be interested in doing it, but now I'm kind of getting hooked. So I want to continue to do this. I want to relearn these commands. I want to learn this language. I want to learn this thought process and start making programs and making games because it's fun. I actually had fun. I got really caught up in the whole Russian roulette thing there for a bit. So it can become contagious. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was entertaining, informational, educational, and you know, maybe it'll inspire somebody who's never programmed before to maybe want to write some silly little programs like Russian roulette. So yeah, what can I tell you? I have been the original gamer, StevieStrow. I have talked for way too long, but we just finished chapter 7. which is randomizing things and printing things on the screen. And I had fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching it. If you did, then give this video a like, give it a big fat thumbs up. If you got something you'd like to say, throw out a comment, let me hear it. If you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, share it with your enemies. And if you're new to the channel, then go ahead and subscribe and mash that subscribe button. I will see you all next time. Keep on gaming, keep on programming, keep on coding. Long live the Cocoa forever, and peace out, everybody.